Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe for more Pop of Genius on urban politics.
This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while now about Sophia Stewart, a phenomenal woman, a Black American woman. She's from the New York area, and decades ago she wrote a book which was titled The Third Eye. And according to her, it is the original manuscript, the original story of what would later become what we know as the film series, The Matrix. And of course, you know, America has a long history of stealing work that don't belong to them, that was started by Black Americans, people of color, and they would take the credit for it. Well, Sophia Stewart, again, is the author of The Third Eye, a science fiction book. She wrote this book. She had already had it copywritten. And then her story is that years later, she put this story into a writing competition, and she never heard anything back from it. Well, later on, when The Matrix comes out, she's like, wait a minute. All of the characters, the plot, all of the descriptions, the backstory behind the characters that are in her story were identical to the ones that was created in the film The Matrix. The red pill versus the blue pill, which one will you take, which path you will take with the character John Connor. Well, there's a whole backstory behind these characters. And her story starts back many, many years ago. She was a small child, and she stated that she was a prodigy. And she'll explain a little bit of that in her video moving forward. But she was so fascinated with sci-fi writing. She got turned on by when she was at the Apollo Theater, and they had a showing of Star Wars. I'm from New York too, and I remember the Apollo. And I was a little girl when we lived in New York, Queens, New York, when my dad first showed me Star Wars. And so I've always been enthralled by the Star Wars franchise, and I love sci-fi writing. And she is not only the originator, she stated, of The Matrix, but she is also the originator of the Terminator as well. Yeah, the same movie that decades ago Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in. And even that, she says, these stories that she created, these stories are based on Christian biblical fundamentals. It's not necessarily written in the scope of what you saw in The Matrix and the Terminator films. There's a whole nother backstory to it. And she says that, you know, she loves writers like George Lucas. And she says that during that time, Orson Welles was the popular writer. And so everybody was looking towards his writings. But she said a lot of the stuff he was writing about really was antiquated. It was like clinkety clank metal robots. But she said she was inspired by God to write about something that was way ahead of the time. And that was about the AI. Orson Welles was like back in like 50s, 60s type of writing. And she was talking about things that were going to happen like decades later. And a lot of her writing can't be explained. And like, if you see the films, right, and you compare it to her story and what she wrote, it took decades for her to prove herself, because she went to court. But it took her decades to prove, based off of the audience perception of what she wrote and what they saw in the film. And come to find out, a lot of the fans, they now believe that she is definitely, they have coined her as the oracle mother, because she really is. Like, she talks about things that are very futuristic. And again, she bases a lot of her things out of the Bible, the Holy Bible, the Holy Word of God. So we're going to look at a little bit more about Sophia Stewart and her story and some of these interviews. And I don't own ownership to these videos. I do want to say that, and this is just for educational purposes. And I love to see what you think about Sophia Stewart. Have you even heard of Sophia Stewart? She's been around for a long time. It's just unfortunate that it's taken so long for her to get her flowers now.
It's the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So the machines, the Terminator machines, hear that a child is going to be born that's going to terminate them in the future when they oppress man. Because see, it's the man versus the machine. It's God's children versus man's children, which was technology. So the Terminator has to time travel to the past because they know it's Sarah Connor. And they have to kill her, terminate her, so she won't have the baby.
And they didn't know the word the matrix was a 7,000-year Latin word, 7,000-year-old Latin word for the woman's womb, and that it was mentioned 5 times in the Bible, 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse, God says, he who opens the matrix, open up this womb, or his, including the female animals, because all the female animals birth the cows, birth the baby cows. Do you see the goats, the babies? All of the female animals do the same process as the female living beings upon the earth. Females, not males.
Now, you know, as you just laid that up and pretty much have been doing that for the last 10 minutes or so about showing that, yo, I'm the real deal when it comes to this matrix. Like, those other folks ultimately took your work or used it.
Whatever you are to God, that's what he is to you. If you stand first for God, he stands first for you. If you put him first, he puts you first. If you acknowledge him, he will acknowledge you before the world. So remember that. Put him first.
People are just reading stuff off of the internet. But if you really want to know the facts about me, you need to go to the archives and read the real media archives, what they've written about me, because they have to put the truth in these this media documents and stuff. It documents facts. The courts documents facts. They did not take my copyrighted book or my copyrighted script. What they did was a licensing deal without paying for it. They adapted my Third Eye, Matrix, and Terminator book with the script with the same name into these movies and films that you guys are enjoying. And when they could not duplicate or get any more, what I would say, eclipse, because only the creator can eclipse the work and carry on. If Picasso was here now, you would be getting more Picassos. But all anybody can do now is mimic and copy off of Picasso's work, but they can't eclipse it because they're not the creator of the work. I was looking for George Lucas at the time. While I was at USC, I skipped high school. I'm a prodigy. Prodigies, we crack codes. We're polymaths. Geniuses are one aspect of knowledge, but the prodigies are like 12-year-old girl. She's got a college degree, and she go work for NASA. But she's 12 years old. So we prodigies, we don't need school. I was reading and writing prolifically at 3 years old.
Elon Musk and a couple of others are talking about, I think, a company called Neurotech, where they've got a company that will interface the nervous system with technology.
I tell you, they cannot do it. They're telling a lie. And you see, they have never talked to me because I'm the Matrix and Terminator writer and creator.
Are you aware of the Russians 2045.com? There's a Russian-based bunch of scientists talking about avatars, humans existing as avatars in a computer matrix.
They're lying about that because avatar, do you know what an avatar is?
Yeah.
An avatar is a possessed body. That's all it is. you possessing somebody's body. And it used to be called demon possession.
Yeah.
Where somebody comes in and occupy your body. You know how they would occupy your body? The demon possession would have to take place if you gave it permission. And what did you do to give it permission? If you got drunk off of alcohol.
Yeah.
And you blanked out and you found yourself locked up the next morning. You wake up in jail and they tell you you just killed somebody. And you say, no, I didn't do anything. I don't have any memory except when I was drinking. Well, that demon possessed your body, took the car, killed somebody, and left you to suffer.
What about
it's the same thing with drugs. Wait a minute. It's the same with drugs. You just saw on television here in America, you can look it up, Google it. A lady went into a car rental place, and she stole the car and took off. And she's caught on video because everything is videoed down, camera down. And the media was asking her, interviewing her, and say, well, hey, why did you do that? Why did you steal the car? She said, because a demon told me to steal the car. That means that whatever's controlling her, she's lost her free will. And that's what alcohol and drugs and lust and everything that becomes your master, and cocaine, usage, it takes your will. God gave us free will. So if we don't want to participate in a killing, we could say no. If we don't want to go and rob somebody, we could just say no. Even if somebody threatens to kill us or harm our family, we can still just depend on God and say no. And God will work it out where we will not be harmed.
I'm going to tell you something. As soon as I came out with The Matrix and Terminator, you guys actually became of the sentiments of the AI, what it can do and where it can go in the future. You guys are just now at the tip of the iceberg. You guys haven't gotten into the ones that is getting ready to oppress and kill you guys. Y'all haven't gotten there yet.
So definitely go research Sophia Stewart and learn more about her. She definitely is a very interesting person, very brilliant, again, ahead of her time. And she has a lot of respect from people in the film industry and sci-fi. And let me know, again, what you think about her. I'll love to read your comments in the comment section. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I appreciate that you're supporting this channel. Thank you so very much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Subscribe for more Pop of Genius on